Hey, Jambo. Um, my name is Maurice Onyango. Hello, Jambo. My name is Maurice Onyango. I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law, currently undertaking the advocate training program due to finish sometime this year, God willing. So I was asked to do this video with my friend, my good friend, Mary Koi from the University of Nairobi. We've been together there, and now we are at the Kenya School of Law undertaking the same program. And she told me that this video will be about wills, and it's under the law of succession, something that I'm passionate about. And this being a video that is going to be played in the church context, maybe it could start with just the word of God. Think under the book of Proverbs, where it said that a good parent, a good father, leaves an inheritance for his children. And that is basically what wills are for: leaving an inheritance for your people, probably your property, anything that can be or is possible of being devolved or being inherited to your people now. So basically, the will is a document or just your words given to people on how your property should be utilized or distributed among your kindred upon your demise. So the key underlying factor is that for a will to actually take effect, somebody must die. And I guess that is why in the African setup, you'll find that most people do not write wills, because we kind of have a skeptical view about death. Yet again, it's kind of sarcastic or ironical, because we are Christians and we are told that we only ought to fear is that which kills the spirit. So this body as it is meant to die. So avoiding a will is actually no solution. Maybe sometime when we get a chance, we can speak of the alternative when you don't make a will, that is now the intestacy proceedings. So for a will, if you make a will, what happens is we go through the testate proceedings, and these basically proceedings that are based on the existence of a will. So let's get into it. Now that we know what a will is, who can make a will? Anyone can actually make a will. Even a person below the age of 18 can actually make a will. They can write down how they wish their property to be distributed, but then the catch is that they will have to re-execute this will once they turn 18. So the will have no effect as long as they are a child, but once they get 18 and re-execute, by execute we mean they sign it again before two competent witnesses, then the will be valid. Again, any adult also can make a will. The catch is that for you to make a will as an adult, you must be sane, you must have capacity to make the will. That capacity means that you must be okay mentally, and also you must not be drunk while you're making a will. Secondly, the major thing is that when you are making a will as a testator, it is a requirement that you, number one, be aware of the people who are entitled to inherit from you. So where you are making a will and you're not aware of how many kids you have, how many beneficiaries are entitled, chances are that will be declared invalid in court. Secondly, you must be aware of the properties that you own. You can't devolve property that does not belong to you under a will. You cannot pass title where you do not have title. So a will basically will cover the property that belongs to you. That is the one you can pass to your beneficiaries. Thirdly, the person making a will must intend for the will to take effect upon their death. So when you make state wills and their intention are not for them to take place after your death, then it can't be termed as a will, because a will basically takes effect upon your death. And I've mentioned written wills, and a will need not be actually written. You can do an oral will. An oral will is now when, say, in the presence of people, you just say, let's say you have a land in Karen, maybe. You say, I want my land in Karen to be passed to my son when I die. and you made this statement before competent people, at least two competent witnesses. By competent witnesses, I mean these are witnesses who are adults, and also witnesses who are not beneficiaries in this case, meaning they are not entitled to your estate. So that will actually be a valid oral will. The catch is that for the oral will to be declared valid, you must die within 3 months. So if you do not die within 3 months, then the oral will not be valid. And again, the reason for this rationale is that the 3 months period is to give you time to actually actualize your words and put them down on paper, because the key, or the basic form of a will is the written will, because this is a written will provides evidence. It's easy when you are dealing to avoid fraud. When you have a written will, it is easy to avoid ulterior facts or alternative facts that or people arguing what you said, what you did not say. So to avoid all these squabbles, it is actually advisable for you to write a will. So when you write a will, you ought to execute it before two competent witnesses, and these people must actually see you sign. So it is not enough for you to write a will and sign it in your room and then take it to a witness to sign. No, each witness must actually see you sign the will in their presence, and they must also sign the will in your presence for that will to be declared valid by the court. Also, there are other factors that I've stated. You must have capacity, and anyone, if in case there's a will that was written and you think the person did not have capacity to write it, meaning sometimes we tend to wait for what I'll call the 9 days, when you think now it's time for me to die. Probably I'm doing 80, I'm doing 90, and you think I may die anytime soon. That's the time we tend to write our wills, and at that time probably our functionality, our minds are not working straight. We may suffer insane delusions at those times. You see people seeing things that they don't things that don't exist. So if you think that a person who wrote the will was actually not in the control of their faculty, or they were probably influenced to write a will in a certain way to favor a party, then you can adduce evidence in court during the process called propounding of the will. This is now the court testing the validity of the will, and the burden will be actually on you to prove that lack of capacity. So basically, that is what a will is. And writing a will does not mean that you're wishing death upon yourself. No, it just means you want your kids or your relatives to have a smoother way of dealing with your property once you die. And anyone I advise everyone to actually have a will, to avoid what we see in the news, long succession cases that take years and just leading to depleting the estates without the beneficiaries actually benefiting. And also, as you write the will, I know sometimes we the Gen Zs can be troublesome, but it's advisable for you to include all your children in the will. And if a kid is actually excluded from the will, they can claim recourse from the court to be given what is called reasonable provision under Section 29 of the Law of Succession Act. This means that your kid, whether you like them or not, are entitled to inherit from you. As I started, and as I said, a good parent leaves inheritance from their children. So get yourself a lawyer, write that will, and make sure that in the event you die, God forbid, your people will not have to worry about how to deal with your estate. Thank you again, Moiso Nyango. God bless you all. Have a good day.